Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Mandy from Hope Designs, and we're going to do 7-inch hexagon today. And the color inspiration for this one came from a fellow student in the Sheleeart class. So Susan, if you happen to catch this, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful blooms. It gave me a really good idea. So I am using slightly different colors. Sorry if you can hear my dog. She's being really annoying because she wants to eat. Go lay down. Sorry about that. So this first color is a combination of Pixie Dust from Colourarte, and I used a little Chantilly Lace, which is a prism pour color from Colourarte. I also used Interference Gold and Interference Red from Colourarte. And the next color is going to be a golden fluorescent magenta. I had this color mixed up for months already, and so it was getting pretty thick in the little container. So I thinned it down with a little bit of Jo Sonja and water mixture. So I keep that kind of mixed up to thin things down. It's 3 parts Jo Sonja gloss varnish to 1 part water. It really, really helps, and then I don't waste any paint that I have mixed up. This beautiful color is Pink Lemonade by Colourarte. It is one of my favorite glitz colors. It's primary elements, but it's part of the glitz collection, so they're semi-opaque and gorgeous. This color is Rose Madder, which is a Matisse flow color. The next color is going to be, trying to remember, Atelier Free Flow Dioxazine Purple, which is my favorite Dioxazine purple shade. It's nice and rich. You only use a little bit of Diox purple anytime you use it because it's kind of self-centered and likes to take over a pour. And this is Atelier Interactive Phthalo Turquoise. So the Matisse and the Atelier I get from Blick, and I do have an affiliate link below. So if you happen to buy art supplies from Blick, you can certainly use our link and it will help our channel. That is hands down my favorite place to buy art supplies online. We're going to use an Amsterdam titanium white cell activator. I also get my Amsterdam paint from Blick. And that's 3 parts Amsterdam to, 3 parts Australian Floetrol to 1 part Amsterdam. Sorry about that. And all my ingredients I use are always in the description box below. I am using the world's smallest blower to blow it out. I take the black nozzle piece off because otherwise it doesn't have enough air flow, pressure, whatever. And then the places that don't blow out the greatest in between, I either just catch those with my mouth or with a turkey baster, being careful to try to glide what's left of the cell activator across and trying to not go down into the paint. And I'm pretty sure I got my hair in that. And you can see that I grabbed the turkey baster for 1 part, but I'm still not super successful. But most of that is going to blow off anyway because there's a ton of pillow paint on here. So as long as the center is pretty well composed, that'll be okay. So you see where I'm blowing at that kind of giant part of cell activator in the middle. You really just want to break the surface tension by blowing on it. You don't want to blow until you see it open up. If you just break the surface tension, it'll do that on its own. In my experience, if you blow so much that it opens up while you're blowing, you're probably going to get some deformed looking cells out of that. So I loved this color combination so much. And so I sped this up and did a voiceover so that I could do a set of coasters with you guys too, because I really just thought this was a beautiful combination. And I had a couple of days where nothing I painted went well. So to have something work out, even if it was something small, made me really happy. So here we go. Look at that shimmer. That right there is one of my favorite parts where you have all of the colors kind of showing up. That is also one of my favorites. I love when you get those peacock cells where they're multicolored, but they're the tight little small cells. Those are probably my favorites. I wish I had better control to get those everywhere. But It's not a perfect blowout, but I super love it. And I love how the Phthalo turquoise creates kind of these accent lines. So here is our first coaster. These are 4-inch hexagon coasters. I get them from Home Depot. Not all the stores have them. And I do get a lot of questions about where I get them. I had them delivered and I paid a delivery charge. So I just bought, I think, 4 boxes at a time to make it worth paying $9 to have them delivered. Just because not every store has it. And the price was competitive enough where it was still worth it. If you're in the US, Floor & Decor has hexagon coasters, and they're a little bit more flat. These have kind of, I mean, they're great coasters, but the Floor & Decor ones are flat, very flat, a little bit better quality, probably easier to pour on, but they're about 3 times as expensive. So it just kind of depends on, you know, what your preference is. I've kind of learned how to make these work, and I don't want to say that they're not flat, because if you're like, oh, I'm not going to buy those coasters, because they're not flat and they're not like crooked or something where if you were to put something on them, it's hard to describe. The surface is just a little bit different to pour on. So if you're doing a Bloomtechnique, if you leave too much cell activator or something on the surface, you're more likely to see it impact the design as it dries. Whereas like on a 4-inch square tile, they're so incredibly level that you don't see that. But I really like them, and they're really, really beautiful, especially once you get them resined, and I put a hexagon cork back on the back. So what I was pointing at there is those little baby cells that are some of my favorites. This one I think probably blew out one of the best of the 4. There was a little bit too much cell activator left, but the composition was pretty even. I really love how the Phthalo turquoise is not like a perfectly symmetrical color. It creates some like off-center color and really creates some interest in the bloom. Here we go with our Fluoro Magenta. That is one of my favorite colors to paint with. I don't know why I don't use it more often. That's really one of the reasons why I love when people share the colors that they use, because even if you don't use the same exact colors, it helps you break outside the box of what you're using. And Pink Lemonade. Because when I think of fluorescent magenta, I don't always think of putting it with certain other colors other than the typical purples and teals and blues. And I really loved the way it worked out in this color scheme. Now this one you will find, I kind of went rogue on the way I blew it out, and it created some kind of weird space. The reason why I went opposite there is because if you saw, I blew down into the pillow and I was trying to give it a chance to try to come back before I made it worse. But normally if I use this little blower, if I will just go all the way around without going the opposite direction, this doesn't happen. Like what's happening here is the cell activator got all spread out everywhere else, and then I didn't really have it where I needed it. So I tried to move it from the middle, and it helped a little bit. It's kind of interesting to watch this happen. It's different when you're in the moment and you're doing it than to watch yourself doing it. I feel like maybe you kind of see a little bit more of what you're doing. Sometimes when you're actually working on some pieces, you're so close to what you're doing that it's really hard to objectively see some of the things that are working well. So what I was trying to do there is tilt a little bit to get some of the better composition to cover up that spot that's not great. But once you've spun something out, if you try to tilt, sometimes, most of the time, you're going to cause your cells to be kind of wonky. Oh, look, my autofocus is going crazy. Still pretty. So here comes the third one. love that Pixie Dust color. Sorry, my phone's making noise. So I can't wait to try this again on maybe a larger canvas or a wood round, or maybe as a swipe, or have another go at a modified bloom. I really love those. I really have to get better at them. So you notice that I'm being pretty sparing with the Dioxazine purple. If you've ever used Dioxazine purple, it can be kind of self-centered and take over a piece. Golden teal is also the same way. If you use too much of those colors, they will kind of dominate. So I usually just use it kind of sparingly, and I love the way it worked in this particular color scheme because it outlines the cells, but it's hardly a color in and of itself. Now, Dioxazine purple is a transparent color. It is not an opaque color. So it does take over, but not in maybe a sense like a golden teal, for example, is an opaque color most of the yeah, it's opaque, or at least almost opaque. So a Dioxazine purple is transparent. So it plays with those colors and it creates kind of layers of color, but it doesn't create that sheet of purple most of the time because it's not an opaque color. So that's kind of neat to see how those colors work together. So if you use the right amount of a Dioxazine purple, it really kind of interferes with the other colors in a really positive way, where it allows color to show through and all around it, but it's not maybe the main character in the movie. You know what I mean? So this one was not a perfect blowout either. Kind of a extra lot of cell activator there in the middle. But I think for a set of coasters, it will still be really pretty. And there's some cells in there that are really great. I love the ones that were on toward the top where the purple was sort of, what am I trying to say? The purple was sort of outlining the cells. I love cells that do that. That's what's so fun about this technique is it's never going to be perfect. Look how messy I got there. It's never going to be perfect, but you're always going to learn new things that will make a huge difference in your future pours, and you'll kind of learn how to get those effects in different ways. I will say the paint that was on the turner after this particular paint session was really very beautiful. So I let it dry and I peeled it off. So underneath where you can see the black, I have a 12-inch silicone mat that I put on top of my turner. So I cover my turner with press and seal, and that kind of protects the turner from getting completely caked in paint. And I used to cover it with foil, and that's kind of distracting for you guys, but it was kind of easy because I could peel the paint right off the foil. And then I would just use a piece of tape to kind of tape something down. Glad press and seal works even better, but if you want to keep the paint skins, they get kind of textured looking. So I actually learned this from Tomoko, who has a fabulous channel. If you don't watch her, you should. She was explaining how she uses a silicone round on top of her turner to help hold her surface on her spinner where it won't fly off or move around very easily. And it works really well. Unless you go real crazy, it's pretty solid. And it makes it a lot easier to clean because you can just peel the skin off, and then you can save your paint skins if you want to. I always try to if they're pretty. I have a binder that I save them in, and I save them and use them for paint skins with our jewelry or magnets, or if I ever get around to doing those things. If I don't, then other artists sometimes might pick them up and use them for other things. So that way we don't waste as much paint. I know some of you guys feel a lot of pain about seeing all that paint fly off and not be able to be used. And I understand. So the one thing that's wrong with this one is that cell activator pool right there. Sorry for the abrupt ending. Here is the close-up of the coasters. I forgot to do the close-up before I moved them, but I think they turned out beautiful. I will share the resin results once I get them in a short video, but please don't forget to leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're not a subscriber, we would love for you to join us. Don't forget about the Colourarte promo code in the description box below for 20% off. It's a brand new set out. It's going to be gorgeous. And yeah, I would love to have you join our Fluid Art Friends group on Facebook. We have a wonderful group of artists that share and support each other. And yeah, super appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Stay well and safe. And thank you again, Susan, for the color inspiration. I love these colors together. I really, really do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the experiment like I did, and can't wait to see this under resin. Thank you. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.